In a solemn and official procession, Martyr Rajiha, Turkmani, Shawkat and al-Ikhtiyar escorted to their final resting places. And Russia warns against attempts to circumvent Security Council regarding Syria. The Syrian armed forces clean al-Midan in Damascus, seize weapons, restore security to the region. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Arab television in Damascus. Official spokesperson for the Russian presidency, Dmitry Peskov, said that President Vladimir Putin believes that any attempt to circumvent the Security Council regarding Syria will be ineffective and will undermine the reputation of the international organization. Peskov said that President Putin discussed with the Russian National Security Council the Syrian issue due to the Russian veto on a draft resolution on Syria at the Security Council. He added that the members of the Russian National Security Council affirmed that attempts to link the escalating tension in Syria to the Russian stance are utterly inappropriate and unacceptable. The Syrian Arab armed forces cleaned al-Midan quarter in Damascus from mercenary terrorists. A security source said that the armed forces restored security and tranquility to the region. The source added that the security forces seized large amounts of weapons, including Dushka machine guns, explosive belts and devices, military uniforms, RPG launchers, ammunition and communication devices. The Syrian Arab armed forces continue to pursue the remnants of mercenary terrorists who fled from al-Midan and Sheen areas in the fields of Kafar Souseh, where scores of terrorists threw down their weapons and surrendered. The heroes of the Syrian Arab Army in al-Midan neighborhood affirmed their determination to pursue the terrorist groups which terrified citizens and attack public and private properties.
Our morals are very high. We are part of the Syrian people and we are here to protect them from the terrorists. We are in Midan to clean it from the terrorists. We are in Midan upon help calls from the people of Midan who were under the threats of the terrorists. The Syrian Arab Army will protect all Syria. The people of Midan will witness how we, the Syrian Arab Army, have managed to clean the quarter from the sabotaging terrorists. We will follow the terrorists to their hideouts and destroy them.
In a solemn official procession, Major General Hisham al-Ikhtiyar, head of the National Security Bureau in the regional command of the Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party, was laid to rest at Al-Dahdah Cemetery in Damascus. The ceremony started with the national anthem of the Syrian Arab Republic, the funeral procession headed by a wreath of flowers and medals surrounded by a group of officers. Participated in the funeral Vice President Farouk Shara, Assistant Regional Secretary of the Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party Mohammed Saeed Khaitan, the Assembly Speaker Muhammad Jihad al-Laham, Prime Minister Riyad Hajab, members of national leadership and ministers, as well as the Martyrs family. Earlier, a solemn and official procession was held yesterday at the Martyrs Memorial at Qasioun Mountain to lay to rest the martyrs who fell in the attack that targeted the National Security Building on Wednesday. Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Armed Forces, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Defense General Dawood Rajiha, Deputy Minister of Defense General Asaf Shawkat, and Assistant Vice President General Hassan Turkmani. The funeral ceremony started by playing the national anthem while the martyrs' bodies covered with the Syrian flag of the Syrian Arab Army and carried on a cannon carrier. The procession took its course, surrounded by a group of officers, while the army band played the music of the martyr and the farewell. Afterwards, Vice President Farouk Shara and Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Armed Forces, Minister of Defense General Fahad Jassim al-Frij, laid wreaths of flower on the martyrs' bodies, before they were laid to rest. The funeral ceremony was attended by Assistant Regional Secretary of Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party, Mohammed Saeed Bkhitan, Speaker of the People's Assembly, Mohammed Jihad Lahan, Prime Minister Riyad Hijab, and a number of Ba'ath Party regional leadership members, ministers, and senior officers. The Syrian Arab Army and armed forces continue to clean the Syrian cities from the terrorist groups, killing a large number of terrorists, arresting many of them, and seizing their weapons.
In Hama, in cooperation with the locals, the security forces stormed into the hideouts of terrorist groups in Masha al-Arabi neighborhood, and they confiscated a large quantity of weapons. The confiscated weapons included machine guns, rocket-propelled grenade launchers, and scores of hand grenades, in addition to stolen medical equipment. In Deir ez-Zor, the security army units clashed with terrorists in al-Bukama city, killing and wounding dozens of them while others surrendered. A source in the city said that the terrorist Ibrahim al-Dibas, a leader of the armed group, Ayman al-Ubadi, and Tahir al-Qadam were identified among the dead. The source also added that the clashes resulted in destroying a mortar, a pickup truck equipped with a machine gun, and 2 cars. In Aleppo, the security forces repelled an attack by a group of terrorists on the police school or the police academy in Khan al-Arsal area. The security forces also clashed with armed terrorist groups in Idlib's countryside, inflicting heavy losses on them and destroying their cars. An official source in the governorate said that the security forces clashed with an armed terrorist group in the Abu al-Zuhur town in Saraqib and inflicted heavy losses on them, indicating that the terrorists Ahmad Haj Ahmad, Basil al-Jnaid, Ahmad al-Ibrahim, Ghassan Qassoum, and Subh al-Fadil were among the dead. The terrorist cars were also.
Russian Foreign Ministry said that the Security Council resolution on extending the international observers mission in Syria for 1 month has been made based on the principled stance of Russia, China, and some other countries, adding that the Western countries retreat from their threatening stance, connecting between the extending of the observers mission and unilateral demands vis-à-vis the Syrian government to halt violence and withdraw heavy weaponry from the cities and towns, has allowed for adopting the resolution by the Security Council. The Foreign Ministry further said that this demand, i.e. to halt violence, is addressed now to both the Syrian government and the opposing armed groups, and that the UN Security Council and Secretary General is expected to submit a report in 2 weeks' time on the implementation of this resolution. Based on that, the ministry added, the Security Council will extend observers' mission in Syria if all sides in Syria abide by the resolution. In a related context, China said that it vetoed the Western draft resolution on Syria in order to preserve the interests of the Syrian people, security and stability in the Middle East. China's special envoy to the Middle East, Wao Sika, said that China firmly opposes the use of force against Syria and would veto any draft resolution that threatens to impose sanctions or give green light to use force against the country. The Chinese envoy reiterated his country's support to the mission of the international observers and the implementation of Annan's plan, pointing out that the latest violence witnessed in Syria points out to the dangers of continuous violence and escalation. Members of the Syrian community in Jordan continued to denounce the terrorist crime which targeted the headquarters of the National Security Building in Damascus. During the solidarity gathering, which was held in front of the Syrian embassy in Amman, with the participation of a number of Jordanian figures, the speakers expressed solidarity with Syria in confrontation with the terrorism supported by some Western countries and the regimes of Saudi Arabia and Qatar, which are implementing the sinister Israeli plans in the region. With this, we conclude our news bulletin for today. For more news about Syria and the region, you can visit our website in English, www